Okay, hello everyone. So I'm going to be posting this video at 12 noon on the 20th, Wednesday. I am going to be at work, but this video will be on pre-scheduled upload. So, hi everyone. Welcome to my predictions for the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. So again, I'm going to be having this video up while I'm at work tomorrow. If I didn't say it, I'll say it now. So, scheduled upload. We're going to go into the predictions, my predictions to be exact, for Crown Jewel taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia at the Muhammad Abdu Arena on the Boulevard. Interesting name, but I can understand why. Okay. So, it's very hard to find an accurate card that's not on Wikipedia. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use Wikipedia. We know that there is the contract WWE has in Saudi Arabia that began back in 2018. We know that there's a pay-per-view every year that's supposed to take place in Saudi Arabia. And we know it's very historic for Saudi Arabia because we know there's going to be 2 women matches. Saudi Arabia is starting to become a little bit more lenient on women competing in the country, as long as they, wear the proper clothing due to Muslim customs in their country. So, the other thing I want to mention is a lot can happen with the storylines, a lot's at stake. So we're just going to get into the 9 matches. And I think this is what's going to lead off the show. And I know I'm only saying this because it's the home country of Mansoor, but I think Mansoor is going to lead off the pay-per-view taking on Mustafa Ali. There's been a good build-up of it on Raw. I will give the creative team credit. Now, who do I think is going to win? Obviously, Mansoor. I mean, it's his home country. Why would he lose? And, it would make a lot of people in Saudi Arabia, the home crowd, happy. So give Mansoor the win here. Next up, I'm going to move on to Goldberg taking on Bobby Lashley in, I guess, a match that I think is going to go down to a long period amount of time that takes place. But I think Goldberg wins just because he's going to want to look for revenge against Bobby Lashley, because back at SummerSlam, Bobby Lashley put Goldberg's son in the guillotine. So, of course, Goldberg's going to want to spear the living you-know-what out of Bobby Lashley, or probably use some weapons knowing Goldberg, because that's how old school he is from the WCW days. So Goldberg wins. I don't know what this does for his career, but I just think the way it's being promoted, might as well just give Goldberg the win there. Okay, so I guess we'll just go to the tournament finals for the men and women. Let's go to the women because, again, this is very historic for the women's side. Either way, you have Doudrop taking on Selena Vega. And I'm just going to say it now. I think Doudrop wins. I know I'm controversial for saying this, but Doudrop, I feel, is going to have a bigger role if she wins on TV. I would think that it gives a little bit of momentum for her career going down the line. I don't know what it will do, but the women's division starting to get a little bit weaker now. You need a legit competitor maybe down the line, so why not Doudrop? So I think she does win. And then going down the line, you'll see more of her on television. It's going to happen. And before Alexa Bliss was out, they had a good storyline with her. So maybe Alexa Bliss comes back in the future. Maybe Doudrop and Alexa have another rivalry next year. I could see it happening. But I'm only thinking long term. In the short run, Doudrop just wins because I guess they just want to put a crown on her. Okay, fine. Let it happen. Now, on the men's side of things, I think it's going to be Finn Balor. I know a lot of people want to see Xavier Woods win, but I'm looking at it from a point of view where Finn wins because he's the Demon King. Why not give him the King of the Ring honor? So Finn Balor wins. And if he doesn't, then I'll be very surprised. Okay. Now we move on to what I think is going to be very important also for SmackDown. Just because, again, I'm thinking of the historical impact of the woman competing in Saudi Arabia. So Becky Lynch defends her SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belaire and Sasha Banks. Now, with the big news that Charlotte Flair won by disqualification on Monday night against Sasha, we know that Charlotte Flair will be bringing the Raw Women's Championship over to SmackDown, which I was kind of hoping for Bianca 2 belts. I know I'm thinking ahead of myself here. Maybe it will happen. Maybe it won't happen. We'll see how it goes. But I don't know. I mean, look at it this way. If you're looking at Becky, who just got drafted to Monday Night Raw, along with Bianca Belaire, and I believe, if I am correct, and I'm just making sure where she got drafted. So, yes, I'm just double checking. Sasha will remain on SmackDown. So I know I'm going to be a little bit controversial for saying this, but I honestly think the way things are going to end up, I think the right thing to do is let chaos happen. And what I mean by that, let Bianca Belaire win the championship, and then let some madness happen. Get Charlotte Flair involved in this mess. I don't want to see this right now. And it'll create some excitement where Charlotte's going to have the belt on Friday night, and Bianca's going to have the other belt, the blue belt, on Monday night. And then we'll figure out this mess from there. Anything can be a given. So I like to see Bianca win, and then, I don't know, does she become Bianca 2 belts if she can defeat Charlotte Flair? Maybe. Maybe it does happen. Or maybe Becky does win, and she tries to reclaim the name Becky 2 belts. It all comes down to one determining factor if Sasha Banks wins. If Sasha wins, and this is very important to note, Becky is going to be owed a rematch. Bianca, not a one-on-one, but there's a lot that can happen. Next up, we move on to the Raw Tag Team Championships. We have RK Bro, Randy Orton and Riddle taking on the former champions AJ Styles and Omos. This is an easy one to predict. RK Bro is on the same page right now. I noticed it the past couple of weeks, especially on Monday Night Raw. So I'd be very surprised if RK Bro doesn't defend. I mean, they're looking like they're a good team. And I noticed on Raw the other night that Randy Orton, it looked like he was starting to warm up to Matt Riddle's goofiness, which is a good sign that they're building chemistry, I think. And especially, Riddle took Jeff Hardy's advice. And a couple months ago, Jeff Hardy told Riddle, you need to listen to Randy Orton. He's going to give you very good teachings on how to make it in this business. He's going to help you learn along the way. And watching Randy backstage with Riddle and Randy getting Riddle focused, making him sure that, hey, this is a big match with the Street Profits. We must concentrate. Alright, we don't want to get distracted for Thursday. You're seeing these two guys who had a bond in the Thunderdome last year. They're coming together. They're learning how a tag team works. You know, I've seen other tag teams, you know, members break up because they have a disagreement. You know, I really love this tag team. And if this tag team loses, I'm going to really be devastated. Because I think this is the most time I've invested in a tag team outside of the New Day since Team Hell No with Daniel Bryan and Kane. I mean, this is the most invested I've been in a long time. So, RK Bro wins. And I think down the line, I think if things go well, I could honestly see the Street Profits getting a match down the line. It could happen. I mean, what kind of competition is Raw going to give you right now? So, I will just mention something very important that you're noticing on the Smackdown side of things. The Usos will not be defending. They defended recently, and there's really no need for them to defend again. So, now that we got that out of the way, we are now going to move on to another important match, and that is Edge versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell. What can you say about these two guys? I mean, they've had 2 matches, and Seth Rollins did hit the curb stomp on Edge, and he got his wish. Now Seth Rollins is taking it to a new level where he feels that he's in Edge's shoes, and Edge just can't take it anymore. For crying out loud, Seth Rollins went to Edge's house in North Carolina on national television, mind you, on live TV. Edge is going to win. And if he doesn't win, I'll be very surprised. But keep in mind, both men got drafted to Monday Night Raw a couple weeks ago in the WWE draft. Do we really want to see another match between these two? No. Seth Rollins is a good in-ring worker. And, you know, in terms of, you know, seeing him become a jobber, because that's what they made him, then, oh, man, it's just pointless to have Rollins win the match. This is the one where Edge just says, I'm done with you, Seth. Bye-bye. So, Edge wins, and if he loses, I'll be very surprised. And for crying out loud, this is Hell in a Cell. So now we move on to our championship matches. Let's start off with Monday Night Raw, and a very big implication here. Big E from Monday Night Raw is taking on Drew McIntyre, who was just drafted to Friday Night Smackdown. The way I look at it, this is a very tough match to call. If Drew wins, he will be a 3-time champion. So I would gather, if everything goes the way it does, I would think Big E wins. And this is where it's going to lead to my point with Roman Reigns. He will be taking on Brock Lesnar. And I'm going to be honest, folks. I do not see Brock Lesnar staying in this company in the long run. I think Brock is done. He's just doing this to collect money. That's what Brock always thinks. Brock honestly just feels like this has become long enough. I'm done. Bye-bye WWE. Bye-bye Vince. I'm out of here. Paul Heyman got me out. That's what he's going to tell after Roman wins. And Roman is going to win. I will be very shocked if Roman Reigns loses. Because when you look at Roman Reigns, each time he takes out a competitor, like Daniel Bryan, John Cena for an example, Roman's done with them for good. Roman lives up to his name as the bad dog. Now does he? We always get something new, something exciting from Roman Reigns. He's the bloodline. And then Paul Heyman kisses the tribal chief's foot on Thursday night when the fireworks go off. Brock Lesnar pushes Paul Heyman for good, literally. Roman comes to Paul Heyman's side, and then begging for forgiveness, Roman accepts. Because at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar is going off into the sunset of Saudi Arabia. And he's going to enjoy retirement. And he's going to look back on his WWE career losing to Roman Reigns. And he's going to say to himself, I had it pretty good for my second run. When you look at the 10 years that Brock had from 2012 to 2022 almost, you look at yourself and you look at the most dominant person in the company. Brock pretty much made the Universal Championship, even though Brock was rarely on TV. The reason why we can all respect this Roman Reigns heel character is because Roman shows up. And we want to see that. That's why I've respected Roman as the champion. I wanted to see Roman lose for a while, and I will admit that. This would be the most embarrassing loss of Roman Reigns' career if he lets the plan of Brock Lesnar's retirement fall through. Roman Reigns retains and will still be your Universal Champion. And it will lead to a very exciting fall/winter on Fox, with Drew McIntyre being the #1 contender. And even if Lesnar somehow wins, McIntyre will still push his way through to a championship match. That's what Drew McIntyre always does best. So, I conclude this prediction video by saying, make sure that you can fit the time in to watch Crown Jewel if you want. If you have work during the middle of the day, then just watch the replay on Peacock. But if you are going to watch live, it is a 12 noon Eastern start time. I will definitely be home on Thursday afternoon watching this. And I'm sure Frank, our head admin on OWN, will be making an epic rant about the flaws. So, thank you all very much for watching. And until the next prediction video, which will likely end up being Survivor Series in November, take care.